Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with political assassination in the world's largest democracy. Rajiv Gandhi, the former Prime Minister of India, who might well have emerged from this week's elections in India as Prime Minister again, was killed this afternoon by a bomb. Mr. Gandhi was campaigning in the southern state of Tamil Nadu. He was making his way through the crowd when the bomb went off. More than a dozen other people were killed as well. His death leaves a very dangerous vacuum in India. The political campaign has served to highlight the deep divisions in the country, and he has no obvious successor. Here's ABC's Barry Dunsmore.
Officials went to Gandhi's home tonight to offer their condolences. The emotions of the crowd which had gathered in his neighborhood were running high. Although without knowing who was responsible for his killing, this anger as yet has no target.
It was very sad for the country, very sad for the people, very sad for the world.
As the voting began yesterday in his home district of New Delhi, Gandhi was optimistic about the chances that he and his party would return to power.
We believe that the voters will give us a clear majority.
Today, he had traveled south to campaign there for the election, which occurs in 3 stages to allow enough time for security forces to be moved to potential trouble spots. But Gandhi himself had decided not to have any significant personal security, as this time he wanted to be seen as a man of the people. The blast occurred just after he arrived at an election meeting in a suburb of Madras, as he was accepting garlands and bouquets from his supporters. Police said the bomb may have been a remote-controlled device. Until tonight, the campaign in the south had been relatively free of violence. But elsewhere in the country, this has been the deadliest election in 44 years of Indian independence. In the last 6 weeks, more than 100 people have been killed, including at least 10 candidates at the national or state level. Gandhi took over as Prime Minister when his mother was assassinated in 1984. He lost that position in 1989 amid charges, never proven, of corruption. Since then, he has played the role of spoiler or kingmaker, using his party to make or break other governments. Tonight in Delhi, Gandhi supporters mourned his death, and no one was sure whether the election would proceed. Barry Dunsmore, ABC News.
Rajiv Gandhi was a member of the most famous family in India and one of the most influential political families in the modern world. His grandfather, Nehru, was the first prime minister when India won its independence from Great Britain. His mother, Nehru's daughter, Indira, was prime minister twice. The Congress Party, which was their political instrument, has ruled India for all but 2 years since independence in 1947. As a younger man, Rajiv was never interested in politics. He was a pilot for the national airlines. But when his politician brother Sanjay was killed in a plane crash, Rajiv was encouraged by his mother to run for parliament and become her political advisor.
Rajiv Gandhi!
In time, with his mother's indulgence, he became a political power in his own right. In 1984, when his mother was assassinated, Rajiv was chosen immediately by the Congress Party as her successor. But a year later, campaigning on his own as Mr. Clean, Rajiv led the Congress Party to a record-breaking majority. He did what he could in the world's largest democracy to invigorate the national economy. He opened India to greater foreign investment. He tried hard to ease the tension between India and its neighbors, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. But his government was beset by corruption, and his popularity suffered. He was accused of living too high and favoring friends. He was defeated in 1989 by a coalition of forces which was held together largely by their opposition to him. The greatest danger to Indian stability has always been that a delicately balanced system will break down under pressure. A society of 850 million people, marked by so many differences of religion, social position decreed by birth, and language. Tamil Nadu, where Gandhi was murdered today, has long been a hotbed of separatism. In this particularly angry political campaign, Rajiv Gandhi had preached that only he could save India from political and religious turmoil. Instead, he has been devoured by it. In a moment, we'll have the other news. A sharp increase in the number of business failures, up 55% from a year ago. Can the Customs Bureau be trusted to investigate charges of corruption in its own ranks? And finally this evening, the Minnesota North Stars, a professional hockey